A new morning. He who prepares the banquet. January 10. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23:5. In a contemporary translation, this verse rendered as, You prepare a feast for me in the company of my enemies. The imagery shifts from a shepherd-flock relationship to that of a host and guest. This verse highlights God's provision and peace even in the presence of adversity. C.S. Lewis, the renowned Christian writer, admired the virtues of the shepherd-flock relationship described earlier in this psalm. However, the banquet imagery in verse 5 represents an elevated spiritual truth that may challenge human perspectives. It is contrary to God's character to create division or hostility. When God invites his guest to his table, it is not to provoke their enemies, but to reconcile them. Someone seen as an enemy by one person may not necessarily be an enemy to God. To fully understand this verse, we must consider the cultural practices of the region. In Palestine, there exists a tradition called Sulha, a reconciliation feast. If a man is pursued by his enemy, he may seek refuge with his clan leader. The leader acts as a mediator, ensuring the pursuer cannot harm the one seeking protection. A feast is then prepared, and both parties sit across from each other to resolve their conflict. Once peace is achieved, the feast is shared, symbolizing reconciliation. The Hebrew word sulkan used in Psalm 23:5 aligns with concept of sulha. The banquet God prepares in the presence of one's enemies is not meant to mock or provoke, but to foster peace and unity. It is a divine reconciliation feast. This concept reminds us of Abraham Lincoln's wisdom. When asked if he could destroy his enemies, Lincoln responded, Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? This approach reflects God's way of transforming hostility into harmony. Shall we, as God's children, strive to turn enmity into friendship under his guidance? Prayer. Lord of peace, pour your love into our hearts so that we may see no one as our enemy. Help us to live in harmony with all, reflecting your grace and reconciliation. Amen.